So recently, my fiance and I moved into a new home that we actually purchased, which opens up a lot of really interesting new possibilities, including the ability to do a lot more smart home things, especially more than I could do before because my previous situation was basically a rental. Now, since we're basically starting from scratch, it didn't come with any smart thermostats or locks or anything like that. The house itself didn't. We get to do it all, which means, of course, first and foremost, deciding which smart home ecosystem do you want to play in, meaning Apple Siri, Google Home, or Amazon Alexa. Now, I will admit I was probably a little bit more into that than my fiance is, and I did a little bit of research. Now, I'm a pretty thorough Apple user through and through, but when I look at that, I have to admit that Siri and the Apple Home product just really isn't anywhere near where everything else is. Maybe they'll catch up someday, but for now, it really wasn't even a contender. Google Home looked at that too, and in fact I'm using Google's Nest Pro, I believe it's called, mesh Wi-Fi as our Wi-Fi system in our house because I really liked the look of that. But if you can look over my shoulder, you can kind of see that I went a different way, and perhaps the more predictable way when it comes to the smart home rest of it, and that of course is Amazon Alexa. A couple of big things there. Amazon Alexa has been around for a long time. They've got a lot of support. A lot of products support Alexa. In fact, a lot of the other devices we already had support Alexa. They didn't all support either Google, very few Apple Home. So that really almost made the decision for it. And honestly, I'm also an Amazon fan. I buy a lot of stuff off of Amazon. We watch Amazon Prime. It just sort of made sense. The kicker for me is that I can still use Apple Music, which is my preferred music vendor, because I have a subscription that bundles all the Apple services together with Amazon Alexa. So if I ask Alexa to play some music, it can play it from my Apple Music and does it fairly cleanly, almost as well, I would imagine, as it does its own native Amazon Music service. So all that together, we ended up there. Now, the other thing I really liked about Amazon and Alexa in particular is the range of products they have. Instead of just having the one, frankly, rather expensive smart speaker that Apple offers, they have a range of them, and we have distributed around the house in all of our kids' bedrooms and in the guest room, the little Amazon Alexa Echo bulb-looking things, circle-looking things, that actually do a really good job of accessing all the smart home features, playing music for the kids, at least at a reasonable level of sound quality for the kids and kind of everyday use. The place that I was struggling with, or still had a hole in, is sort of the great room upstairs. We kind of have this living room and dining room with this half wall with a fireplace in it in the middle, and that space is really kind of the main kind of hub of the house. And whatever Alexa device we place there is going to become the one that is used most primarily, or if we're having a party or something, we use to play music, things like that. Now, I own some Sonos products which do support Amazon Alexa, which I was really grateful for, including some Sonos Era 100s. One's currently in our bathroom and one is in the kitchen. This is right off the dining room. I looked at those. The problem with those is that Sonos, while it supports Alexa, it doesn't support all of Alexa. And some of its more esoteric or more edge features, the Sonos products actually don't support, including drop-in, which lets you have a conversation between two devices within the house, and a few other things that I ran across. So while I really like my Era 100, it's not as suitable for that role because I wanted it to be able to do everything that Amazon's doing now and whatever else they may do in the future. So that arrives us at the Amazon Echo Studio that you see behind me. Now, this device runs about $200 versus the Sonos Era 100s, which run about $250, so it's a little bit of a discount for those. And it supposedly offers similar, if not superior, sound quality. Like I said, though, this is a big room, so I opted not just for the studio, but for the optional subwoofer too, which admittedly I am very excited about, and the fiance maybe not so much. that's okay. So we're going to take these out of the box, see how they work here. I am not an audiophile or an audio expert, but at least try to give them some sort of listen to see how the quality of the sound is, and if it's really able to fill that whole room with music in the way that I hope that it is. But first, let's get them out of the box. All right, so like I said, we have the studio and we have the sub. Right now they're offering a bundle where you can save like $50 and get both of them for $300, which isn't a bad deal, assuming the sound quality is there. You can't order them in the same color. At the time I ordered these, they only had, I think the black studios were out of stock, so I went with a black and a white one. We'll see if how that looks or if it bugs us or not, but you can do that if you want. As in everything today, the packaging on this stuff is, I expect, to be superb. I think we can thank Apple for the state of modern packaging. But, ooh, oh, okay. I like this. Let me move this camera up a little bit so you can see it too. There's a handle. Like most things come with a protective case or something, or, fabric around them inside to protect them from scratches and stuff. But I've never seen one with a handle before. I like that. Pull that out, and then we can see below we've got the kind of the standard, here's how you basically plug it in. We're not going to give you any more instructions because you shouldn't need them kind of thing. And then a power cable. So that's what you get in the box, besides the Alexa itself, which is right here, and of course is an Alexa, in case you missed out on it somewhere. All right, let's see, and turn it over. Pull it out of its nice carrying case. So this is goodly sized. Like, I don't know if that's really showing up in the video or not, but this is a hefty unit. It's definitely wider than my Sonos Era 100s, which I think would be kind of its direct competitor in that catalog. Few more buttons on it. Definitely got some heft to it, which is pretty great. And, similar to what I've seen on the other Amazon products, which is nice, kind of keeps it all the same. You've got a little bit of a air channel down in there, because there's probably a speaker, I would guess, yep, on the bottom facing down. So that's usually what they do, is they do these downward facing drivers that then hit this air channel, and then the sound can kind of go all directions at the side. So it's not a directional speaker. It can pretty much go anywhere you want it to go. You just kind of put it in the middle or off to the side of the space you want it to be in. We'll check the bottom here. Nothing really fancy. No mount, I can see. No screw mount, like a 1/4 inch for a thing or anything. So that's a choice, I guess. And then finally around back, it looks like a audio input, auxiliary input, if you want to send audio into it through something other than wireless or Bluetooth the way you normally would. Power supply. And then that looks like a micro USB. Really would have expected to see USB-C there, but I don't think they expect you to use that for much, because this really is a wireless first product. But there you go. That's about that. Like I said, it's got some heft to it. Got some nice feel to the fabric around it. I would say I like that very much. Let's get the subwoofer out of the box though. All right, here we go. One subwoofer. Similar kind of fancy box structure. Similar bag. This one, of course, is in black, so the bags actually coordinate with the color of the speaker. And it's actually the black on the outside, too. That's really interesting. And here you can see the diagram with the cutaway where you can see that downward-facing speaker for the subwoofer. Of course, it's just one big speaker because, of course, this one is doing just the bass. It's all about that bass, as the great prophet says. And that's a serious looking magnet in there. Wow, that's all right. Okay, now we're gonna pull this out. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Similarly, in the bottom, we've got a power supply and a little card. Now, you can't read it because it's black on black, but it does say Eco Sub on the box. At least I kind of hope you can read that. And I'll pull this guy out. And look at that. Okay, so similar in design to the Studio. Same kind of materials all around. This one is quite a bit wider, which has a wider speaker in it. That makes sense to me. Again, just feet on the bottom, nothing else. You've got those air channels you know, to let the sound out. And that's really about it. We got a power unit right here. Here's the power supply itself. I had kind of had an outside hope that you might be able to plug this off of the other one, so you only had to plug one in, so maybe it could run both of them or whatever, but it does look like this is going to require its separate, its own power supply, so we're going to have to put this a good bit, you know, just 2 cords to deal with, so just know that. And then finally, there's a little warning label. Says, please stop, set up your Eco device before plugging in your Eco sub. After your compatible Eco device is set up, refer to the enclosed quick start guide to complete Eco sub speaker pairing. All right, so as I expected, this is going to wirelessly pair with the Eco Studio, and I think you can use some of the other devices as well, but it also realizing that means this doesn't have to be in the same place. So we may put this more out of the way instead of right next to the Studio, and the Studio might be the one that's out, and this can be kind of placed somewhere a little more out of the way, in the same way that you would put a subwoofer for your you know, home entertainment system, maybe off or side of the couch or out of the way as much, versus your main channel or surround speakers, which are going to be a little more noticeable. So maybe it's okay that it's black. Maybe I'm justifying. Probably am, but maybe it's okay. It's going to be out of the way, it's black, and the white one is the one that's going to show up and be all shiny. Sure, let's go with that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these up upstairs, get them plugged in, and see how the setup process goes. All right, I decided to go ahead and test it out on the workbench because that's going to be easier to show you like what's going on. The nice thing about these being wireless is once you get them all set up, you can unplug it and put it where you want it and plug it in. So you don't have to actually do the setup where it's going to live. So if you want it a little bit higher out of the way, you can do that. So basically plug the power cord into the back, plugging it into my bench power strip right there, and waiting for it to show signs of life, and there we go. All right, when I opened up my Amazon Alexa app, the one thing I noticed is my Eco Studio is already in here because I purchased this from Amazon through my Amazon account that's linked to my Alexa account. So it already knew it existed, and I'm sure it's been waiting for a while for it to show up. So we're going to click that and see what's going on. It knows it's there. It just calls it Jeremy's Eco Studio because it doesn't know what to call it yet. It doesn't have a Wi-Fi network yet. So let's see. Okay, hopefully my lav mic picked some of that up, but that actually sounded pretty good.
Your device is ready for setup.
Fantastic.
Just follow the instructions in your Alexa app, bringing your device online. Just a moment.
Okay, and I've run into this before with some of the other ones. It already knows my Wi-Fi information, so it should be connecting to my Wi-Fi right now. So let's give it a second and see how that goes. Your Amazon Alexa is set up, it just said.
While I tune your Echo to match the acoustics of this room. Your Echo is ready. From now on, even if you move the device, it will automatically adjust to the acoustics of the new space.
Well, alrighty, how nifty is that? All right, so let's see. All right, so now you can see it says my Eco Studio is online. So now in here, I can rename it if I want. But really, I want to see how it works pairing it with this guy. So let's make that happen next. All right, so I'm gonna take this little warning label off of this guy. Got the sub out here. Turn it around, plug it in. There is one button on the back of the sub, which is where the power thing is, which I'm guessing is the power button of some sort, but it looked like it came on when it came on. It started to flash blue, so let's see what happens. All right, I imagine because this is a subwoofer, it didn't do anything nearly as interesting. There was the one on the back flashed orange until it stopped flashing orange, but I noticed I got a notification on my phone that says your Echo is almost ready, tap to complete setup. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so I thought I was having a problem connecting these two devices to each other. So what I was doing was going into finding my speaker, which is called Living Room, going here, and wanting to go to stereo pair subwoofer here. And then I came down here to Living Room sub, checked that, and I would expect at this point this next to be lit up, but it wasn't. And I could not get it to light up, and I could not get it to light up to help me pick next. Well, as it happens, you have to go back and reselect Living Room, and with both Living Room and Living Room sub checked, then next comes up. Now, why I didn't know that I was already trying to do it to Living Room when I selected Living Room at the beginning, I don't know. But if you run into that problem, that's the problem. You got to check both of them. Sure, okay, whatever, Amazon. I wanted to give you an opportunity to hear the sound quality, at least a little bit, of the Amazon Echo Studio with the sub attached. This is just music provided in the YouTube audio library because anything else will content match and YouTube will get very mad at me. This is it playing in my studio space. And now here it is playing similar tracks in the actual living room, dining room space where it's going to live. This space is far larger, but I noted that it really had no problem filling this space with sound. I think even with a large gathering or party or whatever you might be doing, this is definitely more than up to the task, which, if you think about it, is pretty impressive for a unit so small. All right, the Amazon Echo Studio, what do I think? It's actually really good. Really good. I'd say it sounds as good as my Sonos Era 100. I'm not an audiophile certified anything on that, but to my ears, who've listened to a lot of speakers and a lot of music over the years, I would say it sounds really great. And I would have been surprised if it didn't, truthfully. Speaker technology we've kind of got down at this point, and a company as big as Amazon isn't going to put out a product that doesn't sound good. So it sounds good. I would say the biggest surprise is actually the subwoofer, in that I'm not entirely certain it's necessary. The studio puts out a lot of bass all on its own, and it seems to be out of the box have a fairly conservative tune in terms of like when the subwoofer kicks in. I found myself actually a couple times like reaching up under its little grill area to see if it was even working, and it doesn't seem to kick on unless it's really necessary. So on one hand, that's nice. You're not going to get like an overwhelming bass that's going to annoy people or really distort the music you're listening to, but the studio itself has such a good full range of sound and probably a decent sized driver in there already that I'm not sure how necessary the subwoofer is unless you've got a really large space and you really want to fill it up. So the ability to separate these by really as much as you want, they just need to be on the same Wi-Fi network, so you could technically put the subwoofer in another room. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. So like that's nice if you were using it more in like a home theater setup, which I think is possible. Not sure why you would do that either, but you could. You know, maybe that works too. If for testing purposes, I'm glad I have it. If I were to buy another one for another large room, I would probably skip the subwoofer unless, again, I just really wanted it. It could easily be your primary way of listening to music. It Does some nice faux stereo separation. That's always a challenge with these kind of speakers, since you don't have two speakers to do left and right channel. You know, how well does the stereo play through? And again, today they're getting pretty good at it. So I'm not sure what kind of you know, software madness is happening in there to kind of fake it. But even songs with some strong stereo components to it sound really great. So, and of course, it is a full Alexa. It is a full device with all the features that you want, no compromises. And since this is a rather newer product for Amazon, you can imagine it's something they're going to support for a good long time. So especially at the price point, the fact that you can get this much sound at this high quality at the price of like $200, you know, I remember when a decent speaker just by itself that didn't do anything other than be a speaker would cost you a lot more than that. But since it's Bluetooth and has all the bells and whistles in it you're going to need, I'm going to say it's a pretty strong recommend here for me. And I've been really happy with Alexa as our smart home device. It seems really compatible with a lot of other things. So in the future, look for more videos from me just showing all the other Amazon Alexa capable devices that we are pairing with all of these Echo devices we've spread around our house. All right, well, thank you for being a part of this. Please, 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 if you're interested in these products, check the links in the description. That's really the #1 way that this channel gets supported, is by people clicking those links when they're going to purchase something. Of course, like and subscribe. And until I see you again, have a great day.